The second part of the resilient mindset model is the 4 characters of the brain. Each character represents a job of the brain when we face challenges. The ant represents the job of the brain to think about the future. The ant is in charge of helping us do the things that we don't really feel like doing right now, but we do them because they will help us later. The ant helps us to go to the doctor, eat healthy, and study for a test. The ant carries tools that represent things that keep our brains healthy. When we have those tools in place, it is easier to make decisions that help us in the long run. When we do not have the ant tools in place, the ant gets tired, and we are more likely to make short-term decisions that we might regret. The grasshopper represents the part of the brain in charge of right now. The grasshopper doesn't care if we eat healthy or study. It wants to do things like eat pizza and watch movies, the things that feel good right now. The grasshopper has 2 main jobs: responding to threats and looking for rewards. The grasshopper character has 3 different visuals. The first is the grasshopper enjoying life, playing, and having fun. If we are doing schoolwork and we see our friends out playing, our grasshopper may say, "Hey, let's go join in the fun." The grasshopper looks for immediate rewards. When we finish watching a show, and the box pops up to say another will start in 5 seconds, the grasshopper says, "Let's watch one more." The second visual shows the grasshopper celebrating success. It is a great feeling when we work really hard on a goal and finally succeed. The grasshopper's third visual represents our fight-flight-freeze response. The grasshopper's job is to get us out of danger if we are threatened. Our grasshopper is strong and fast, preparing us for immediate action. When we are in fight-flight-freeze mode, it is difficult to think. We are emotional and focused on survival. The third character is the glowworm. Remember we said that the brain's main job is survival? The glowworm is always on the lookout for threats so we can protect ourselves. The glowworm also has 3 visuals in the model. In the first, the glowworm sits on top of a blade of grass with all lights glowing green and eyes wide open. It is on alert and ready to respond to any threat. The second visual represents a stressed state. When we are worried, upset, or stressed, our brains start getting ready for a threat. When we have too many of those small stresses or do not have our ant tools in place, we may overreact, thinking that a small threat is a big threat. This can move us into fight-flight-freeze, and we may say or do something we later regret. The last character is a dragonfly. The dragonfly's job is to know what is happening and make decisions about what to do. The dragonfly is also in charge of knowing which character should be in charge. Each of the dragonfly's 4 wings represents one of the 4 S's: self, situation, supports, and strategies. When we build resilience, our dragonfly gets stronger. One main job of the dragonfly is to know when to stop the glowworm's red alert response. The dragonfly can say, "No, we don't need to go red alert right now." We know what to do. We can then use the 4 S's to handle the challenge. Reacts is the third part of the resilient mindset model. Each letter represents a social threat and reward to our brain. Our brains always look out for threats, for example, a car coming toward us, icy steps, or a dog barking at us. It also looks for rewards, such as good food, a hug, and a warm fire. But humans are also very social. They have always relied on other people to survive. By forming social groups, we have been able to help each other. It is much safer to be a part of a group than to live alone, so being part of a group has become very important to our survival. We also learned that other groups could be dangerous. Because of that, our brains learn to respond similarly to social threats and rewards as they do to physical threats and rewards. Just like when we see a car coming at us, it is the glowworm's job to go red alert and switch control of the brain to the grasshopper for fight-flight-freeze if we have a threat to respect, equity, alliances, control, territory, or similarity. Our glowworm also goes red alert, switches control of the brain to the grasshopper and puts us into fight, flight, or freeze. Sometimes, that will not help us in the long run because we say and do things we might regret later. Understanding these social threats and rewards helps us make more mindful choices about how we respond. Respect. We don't like being embarrassed. We look for opportunities to be liked and avoid situations that make us look bad. The glowworm is ready to go red alert if we think someone might disrespect us, particularly in front of others. Equity. Our brains like things to feel fair. We do not need everything to be equal, but our brains do not like to feel cheated. Fair does not necessarily mean the same thing for different people. Alliances. As humans, we survive better as part of a group than independently. Our brains want to form alliances, i.e., friendships, family, etc., and protect those alliances when they are threatened. Control. We like to know what is going to happen. In general, our brain does not like surprises. When it feels like we do not have predictability and a sense of control, the brain is alert and ready to protect us. We do not always need to be the ones who are in control, but we like to feel like situations are under control. Territory. The brain is much more protective and ready to call out the grasshopper to protect us when it is our project, our pet, our home, or our community, something we feel protective of. Similarity. The brain has learned to see people who we believe are similar to us as friendly and those who are different from us as potentially dangerous. But even a small similarity affects our response. Even eating the same type of food together has been shown to decrease our chances of moving into grasshopper mode. Reacts represents social threats and rewards that are common to our brains. Each of us responds to them differently, but we all respond.